Hey all, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review today, and today I'm going to be not interviewing, reviewing. Yep, Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Now, once again, this is another film you could say, why am I reviewing it? What? Oh, excuse me. Why am I doing it? Should I even waste my time with it? And, personally, it's like, this film right here is one of Disney's last true 2D animated gems, and Atlantis Lost Empire, I think, got a lot of good attention. It got a lot of good coverage and trailers and commercials, but it really never, I think, succeeded as well as they wanted it to. I mean, this, like Dinosaur, Treasure Planet, sadly, Princess and the Frog, stuff like that, has all disappeared into the woodwork. And I mean, it really was a good movie. I mean, it has a lot of good action, good hilarious moments, bits of suspense, a really, really nice villain turnout for it, and things like that. And once again, I'll try to start saying this more in the beginning. There probably is going to be spoilers and me mentioning certain things to the plot, so if you want to see Atlantis The Lost Empire and not have me ruin it for you, just see this after you're done watching the film. But onward to the review. This movie deals with a linguist. Shoot. Well, you can see him there. He's the guy right in the middle on the front cover, Milo Thatch, who is brilliantly voiced by Michael J. Fox. And I was actually shocked to see that Michael J. Fox was voicing Milo. And when I saw the trailer, I was like, wow, that's amazing. Michael J. Fox is doing another animated movie, or is it another movie in general? Because this was around the time that, sadly, his Parkinson's disease was finally well known, and when he wasn't acting as much since the mid to late 90s. And when he did this movie, which Atlantis Lost Empire was done, 2001. So, it was amazing to see what he did. And Milo Thatch is just this guy who, believes in Atlantis. His grandfather believed in it. Sorry. My apologies, everyone. The heat down here and where I live is just unbearable, and been blowing my nose all day, been sneezing, and just been dealing with the elements for as longer as I've wanted to, and for instances not as long as I've needed to. But like, what I've been enjoying is that how Milo has always believed in Atlantis. His grandfather has always believed in Atlantis, and he's always wanted to have because he works at the museum in Washington, D.C., and he's always tried to get Mr. Harcourt, the head, and the other counselors at the museum to believe in his expedition, and he's always tried to get it funded, but Mr. Harcourt, who brilliantly is voiced by David Ogden Stiers, who always plays these rich, arrogant sort of characters, unless you're talking about Hunchback of the Notre Dame, of Notre Dame, where he plays the Archdeacon and is a good guy. But, David Ogden Stiers played Mr. Harcourt pretty good for how short the role was. And anyway, Mr. Harcourt, refused him, and a lot of people, Mr. Harcourt included, say, you're going to throw your career away like your grandfather did, don't waste your potential, but Milo always believed in it. Then Milo is met, secretly by a man named Preston Whitmore, who is voiced brilliantly by John Mahoney, and John Mahoney has great comedy to Mr. Whitmore. You can definitely see his wit there, and the oddball type of way that John Mahoney gave the character, and Mr. Whitmore is just, very, very eccentric for an old man. And it turned out that Thaddeus Thatch, Milo Thatch's grandfather, was his best friend, and he was always fed up too with, Thaddeus Thatch's, belief in Atlantis, and he made a deal with him if he could find this one book called The Shepherd's Journal, he would fund the expedition and kiss him full on the mouth, which there's a funny bit in the movie where he shows him a picture where they did that, great bit of comedy, but, Mr. Whitmore funds the expedition to find Atlantis, and Milo's all excited that somebody believes in him and is willing to finally fund his expedition, and Milo then goes and meets the rest of the crew, which the crew turns out to be, this bunch of ragtag, bunch of people. There's Captain Rourke, where Rourke is voiced by James Garner, which is a very interesting choice, and Rourke is a man who, believes he wants to discover something historical, and basically turns out to be a villain of the movie, and he, is basically just after this power source, which is a crystal that has a whole bunch of power that is being used to keep Atlantis alive. He's after that so he can get a payoff from any government, any museum, anybody who's willing to pay a great price for its crystal. So seeing James Garner play a villain and play it so well, just how underhanded Rourke is, how despicable he is, how he just turned on Milo and just, was willing to do anything to get this power and this crystal. He actually kills the Atlantean king, as well, who's already an old man, thousands and thousands of years old. But, it's just, it was like, wow. And a little tidbit here, too. The Atlantean king is voiced by Leonard Nimoy, who did a great job as the Atlantean king, and it was just awesome to see it. And besides Rourke and his, great adventures, there's his other crew, which are not as money-grubbing. I mean, they were all in the money at first, but they all, decided to join Milo in the end to help save Atlantis and stop Rourke from taking the power source. But there's some very, notable voices. There's Jacqueline or Obadors, who does Audrey, who's the mechanic, done very well. She gave a lot of life to the character and done very, very entertaining like, so I gotta give her tons of credit. Don Novello did Vinny, and if you don't know him, he's the priest who was on Saturday Night Live, who always did stuff for that show, and it was really cool hearing him be on a movie when I hadn't seen that guy on TV or any movies in years. The last thing I saw, right off the bat that I could remember was his cameo in Casper. But it was awesome seeing Don Novello be a part of that. And there's other, actors like Phil Morris, who did Sweet, who, Martian Manhunter from Smallville, and a whole bunch of other good TV shows, certain movies too. Court Burton, well-known voice actor, does Boyer. Jim Varney, the great Jim Varney, Ernest, and Slinky Dog from Toy Story did Cookie, the cook who doesn't believe in healthy food but believes in every greasy bit you can get your hands on. He voices Cookie brilliantly, and just really good character to hear him do. And sadly, it was Jim Varney's last movie. At the end of the credits for Atlantis, they thanked Jim Varney for all his work at Disney and for all the other films he did, and they'll always remember him. And it was a nice little tiny touch they did at the end of the film for great remembrance for Jim Varney. And it's just sad to see that another good actor like him is already dead. Sadly, I think it was cancer that killed Jim Varney, but, you know, it's sad to see actors like that go. But, so, you know, there's also a lot of just great actors who are part of the crew, and they added a lot to the film that was just so great. Then there was, like, one final note of Atlantis for the characters was always Kida, who is a princess of the Atlantean king who wants to see Milo. When they first get to Atlantis, you know, she's wanting to find them, wanting to see if the humans can help the Atlantean people survive and completely live and, you know, find a way to save their culture when the king's like, you know the rules of our kingdom. No outsiders could see the kingdom and live, but yet you bring them here. But she's like, well, you know, maybe they could help us because she's all about saving her culture and her people and establishing what they can. And she eventually ends up doing that. Through her power, she saves the city because when Rourke takes the crystal, Kida gets it down with her own soul because she has her body bonded to the crystal, similar to what her mother did at the beginning of Atlantis, the Lost Empire, when Atlantis was about to go into the depths of the sea, when the Atlantean king was trying to use Atlantis for a tool of war. The gods, their gods, became angry and tried to drown their city beneath the sea, but Kida's mother sacrificed herself to save the city, and the king then hid the power of Atlantis below. But Kida follows within that same lifeline, and Cree Summer voices her, and Cree Summer has always done great voice work. She's really great for the characters. She can make any character sound kiddish, funny, great, sexy, and a whole lot of different things. Now, granted, she played another one of my favorite characters, Mummy's Alive. She was Nefertina, and oh man, you know, it was always a great thing to hear Cree Summer's voice and do a lot of things. She's like my, I don't know, it's a tie between Cree Summer and Katsuchi, who I really like for female voice actors. I do like a lot of female voice actors, but Cree Summer and Katsuchi are ones that I loved as a kid, and when they do current, old, or new stuff, you know, it's just great hearing their voices. And overall, Atlantis, The Lost Empire, this movie, you know, has just got everything. It's got great 2D animation, the 3D is really great, the story is very gripping and compelling, it's got some dark elements to it, which I enjoy. It's stuff, in my opinion, Disney's been trying to stay a little bit away from, but I do love how they come back to it in this film. And it's just very entertaining. It's a great film to see, and I would recommend it for everybody because it's very well action paced. It's, you know, pretty good story. You know, for 96 minutes, you get what you need worth for this film. And also, in final saying too, because I forgot to mention this, because I usually mention film scores, a great film score by James Newton Howard, and just unbelievable. I mean, James Newton Howard does a lot of good scores. Once again, sadly, I wish he didn't do a lot of M. Night Shyamalan films, but that's just me. Maybe he does them because he likes M. Night Shyamalan and he's got a good relationship with them. But either way, you know, great score. And overall, this is a pretty good movie. So, if you've not seen it, I would recommend it, and I would see this film because it's a great Disney film. And, you know, if it's not something you love, you will probably at least find it very entertaining. Overall, I give Atlantis The Lost Empire I think I gave it tied between 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 because it was really good for an 8, but yet I think it's also good for a 9, but, you know, just depends on where you go, I guess. So, till then, this is 012 Boku signing off, and I will see you later, guys, alright? Just tell me what you thought about this movie, and maybe leave some comments in some sections. Let me know, okay? Alright. Later.